Today I want to have a talk with people who are fans of content creators, not necessarily other content creators or influencers or whatever you want to call yourself. I'm not talking to people who casually like to watch social media, YouTube, TikTok, etc. I'm talking to the people who have dedicated their lives to be a fan of somebody and what behavior is okay and what behavior not only should you have a problem with in terms of watching it happen, but you should also understand that those people are making the rest of us look bad. And if you want to hear more about that, then this is the video for you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Roxana. I'm Metamorphosis Rocks. And yes, this video is not going to have the usual introduction because I want to get to the point as quickly as possible. In case you don't know, I've been dealing with COVID and the COVID after effects for the last 4 weeks. 3 weeks? No, 4 weeks. Okay, today's the 18th. I got officially diagnosed on the 29th, but I started having symptoms on the 26th of August. So however many days that is, it's 18 plus 3 or 4. So that was 20. It's almost 3 weeks, okay? It feels a lot longer anyway. Bottom line is this. I'm not feeling great. My voice is really not doing well, so we're going to try to do this in one take. I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it in one take, so bear with me. Now, this video was inspired by several situations that I'm seeing on social media at the moment. The first one, of course, is the situation with Peter Monn, as well as the recent events that happened this weekend with one Russell Brand. And I'm not talking about the situations themselves, so the fact that you know or don't know what really happened is irrelevant. What I want you to concentrate is on the behaviors that happen as a consequence of this situation. Now, in the case of, there's other situations that I'm going to touch on maybe a little bit, but those are the two that are the most important ones that I've been watching lately. In case you're one of those people that doesn't like a lot of jump cuts, I am doing jump cuts every time I start coffee. So that should tell you more or less how I'm doing. Anyway, let's go back to the topic. The first person that I'm going to talk about is the situation with Peter Monn. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of the Peter Monn situation except for this. Peter Monn has a group of people that have decided to make his life miserable based on the fact that he either criticizes or sings the praises of a content creator, okay? Now, I can relate to that part of the situation because if you're familiar with this channel, you know that a few years back, I had a similar situation based on love and hate of the same content creator. Not the same content creator that Peter is talking about, but in my case, it was Jeffree Star. I don't have any problem saying it. I just don't want to get more hate directed in that direction. What happened with Jeffree Star is, like, when I started the channel, I actually liked Jeffree Star. There was a group of people that had already developed dislike for Jeffree Star, and so they automatically started attacking me because I like Jeffree Star. How dare you, if you talk about race and issues and blah blah blah, how can you like a racist, blah blah blah. Bottom line is, it was a nightmare for a while. Then I changed my mind because of some events that happened later that were actual proof, not people's flapping gums. Interestingly enough, all these people used to follow a particular content creator who is no longer with us, and that content creator was allowed to like him at first and dislike him later. In other words, she changed her mind, but I'm not allowed the same thing. So now I have the people who love him, the people who hate them hating on me. And just so you have an idea of some of the things that happened, I was threatened several times to end myself or that they were coming for me. There were reports made to certain units of certain, let's just say, reports were made. And it all went berserk. And here's the part that you have to understand. My mom had dementia, and I was dealing with that, and I was also dealing with stupid people on the internet, okay? It took for my mom to die for them to leave me alone. Now, if you're a fan of somebody and you think that you have a point to debate with a content creator, because by the way, this is not just me or Peter Monn. This happens to a lot of content creators. It doesn't happen to the degree that it's happening to Peter Monn, by the way. But it does happen in terms of people either love or hate somebody, and instead of just leaving a nice, normal comment, no, they have to go guns blazing, trying to dox people. The only reason why they can't dox me in terms of like calling my employer is because I don't have one. Because I've been unemployed the entire time I've been on social media. In terms of, I mean, working for a corporation or something like that. The reason why it was easier for them, I think, to go for Peter Monn is because, unfortunately, Peter Monn was involved in a situation where a lot of his information was put out there. And once you have a little bit of information, it's a lot easier to get all the other information, in my opinion. I think that's why it was easier. It doesn't stop it from being ridiculous. Now, so you understand the concept of the difference between a fan and a stan. A fan is somebody that likes a particular content creator. They enjoy their content, or they buy their merch, or they base their shopping habits on what this person says is good or not. Things like that. That's the normal behavior of a fan of somebody. Stan behavior is when you go video by video, you go and hate watch everybody that doesn't like that content creator, to go and bash them, to criticize their looks, their weight, their age, their ethnicity, race, you name it, they do it. Which, by the way, doesn't exactly bode well for your fave if that's your behavior, because it just shows that this people attracts horrible human beings. And yes, if you're the kind of person that goes around bashing other people based on things that have nothing to do with the topic at hand, you are a horrible person and you have no point. Let's keep it there. Because here's the thing. Now I'm going to move a little bit to the Russell Brand situation in the process. There is something very fascinating. If you've ever gone to a comment section, now, for those of you who don't know, because this is how far into the stupid we're going to go here. When I was in the middle of my situation, one of the biggest critiques that I got is that I commented on other people's videos. Mind you, those comments were in other people's videos. So the people criticizing me for commenting on YouTube videos were themselves commenting on YouTube videos. Again, the hypocrisy. But I digress. The thing about it is, if you go to a comment section, and just so you know, for future purposes, you leave a comment because you want the engagement for that creator, because you like the creator, or maybe you hate the creator, but that creates engagement for that creator and it helps them. In my life, I don't hate watch because A, I don't understand it, and B, I don't care for it. The only time I watch somebody that I don't care about is if I'm going to make a video on them. Then obviously I want to watch to see who the person is. But in terms of commenting, leaving comments on other content creators, I do it because I know it helps them. Period. End of story. Now, if you want to bash me for that, you really need to touch grass at some point. But let's go back to the situation at hand. If you go to the comment section on either Peter Monn, the whole Russell Brand situation, anybody commenting on that situation, James Charles, Trisha Paytas, Colin Ballinger, any of those situations, you will see a group of people that are either in favor or against of the content creator in question. And then you'll have a group of people that no matter what happens, they are going to either defend or bash the person. Now, I'm trying, if you see me looking, it's because I'm trying to find my phone, because I made a comment today on a conversation and I want to use it on this video, and I'm trying to remember what the comment was, because my partner in crime went ahead and wrote it down and sent it to me on a text message so I would remember it. Now, I was talking about the fact that, for example, commentary channels, and this is in all areas, not just the beauty community, have or habit, the good ones, of taking information as it happens and bringing it to the public. The idea behind that is because what they're trying to do is teach you what the behavior is so that you don't fall for misbehavior in the future. Now, someone I don't know called Gary J. Blackman gave us some information that I think it's relevant to this entire scenario. A fact is information minus emotion. An opinion is information plus experience. Ignorance is an opinion lacking information. And stupidity is an opinion that ignores a fact. Why am I saying that? Because when you go into the comment sections, you can tell the difference between the fans and the stands based on whether or not it's an opinion or ignorance on the part of the person. Because it doesn't matter what the situation is, be it politics, religion, celebrity scandals, anything in your life. This is going to happen in real life and on social media. You have 1/3 of the population is going to agree with you no matter what you say or do. 1/3 of the population is going to disagree with you no matter what you say or do. And the last third doesn't care because they either don't know you or they honestly don't care. They don't like you, they don't dislike you. You're irrelevant to them, okay? Everybody is irrelevant to somebody, and that's important to know. Because what I told my daughter when we were having this conversation about the Russell Brand situation in commentary channels, and what I said is smart people that want to end you will end you with the truth, not a lie. And the reason why I said that is because one of the bigger issues that people like Peter Monn and other commentary channels are facing is that they're giving the facts based on what's being reported. Then they give you their opinions based on the facts and their experience. And they don't have a horse in this race. They're just telling you what happened. Most of the time, these people don't care about the people they're talking about. Now, let me give you an example in my personal experience. When I started out in the beauty community, I liked pretty much everybody. Now, I pretty much don't trust anybody. I still like some people here and there, but I don't trust most of the people just because they sold me a bill of goods that was a lie. And I'm not talking about their personal lives and their personal struggles. I don't care about those. I'm talking about the fact that most of these people were on the payroll in terms of makeup companies. And instead of being honest from jump and telling me, this is a sponsored post that I'm going to review this particular product so that I can take it with a grain of salt, they made it look like they bought the product or they got the product. Somehow the product miraculously appeared on their table, and they were just going to review the product. To me, a review means that you are not bound to anybody. You went to the store, you got the product, you tested it, and that's it. If you're going to be honest, you're going to tell me, well, I got this on PR, but I've never tried these products before. Let's test it. That's very different from you having a sponsored post where you're getting paid for saying X, Y, or Z about a particular product. And the reason why it bothers me is because most of these content creators would tell you, well, I got this in PR, so let's try it. Not telling you that they were getting paid for liking the product. Because that's the way it is. So, commentary channels have a habit of commenting on those content creators and calling out that behavior. And when I say when you want to end somebody, I don't mean that you want to destroy their career. You want to end the behavior. That's the important thing that you have to understand here. We want all of these people to do good. We want all of these people to grow, to keep growing, to keep making money, because some of these people are really, really talented. Where we have the problem is when they don't disclose their affiliation to the product they're talking about. Because it's not honest. At the end of the day, it's not honest. And so, if we want to end that behavior, why do we need to lie and say something that has nothing to do with the behavior that we want to comment on? It's the same with the whole situation with predator protectors. You have a bunch of people that are supporting people that have admittedly had inappropriate behavior. And yes, I'm talking about Colleen and James. Both of them made videos where they actually admitted what they did, which is wrong. Both of them removed those videos, but removing the video does not mean that you didn't admit what you did. And to see all these other content creators still supporting these people is problematic. And this is where fan versus stan has a problem. Because the fans will be like, well, I don't agree with you, and I'm still going to buy from so-and-so or whatever. Okay, you have all the information, and you make that decision with an informed mind. I don't have a problem with that. Where I have the problem is when somebody goes, well, you're just a hater, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you're fat, ugly, and old, so I'm just going to keep on supporting so-and-so, and I hope you die. That's stan behavior. That's completely inappropriate. And I don't know where or how it happened that you people think that's okay. Another thing that happens that you see it a lot in the comments section is that you see people talking about how smart somebody is just because they're contrarian. Being contrarian, in other words, moving against the crowd, trying to be unique or individual or whatever you want to call it, does not make you smarter or dumber than anybody else. Doing it to make money makes you kind of like a scam, but it doesn't make you any smarter or any dumber. I know a lot of scam artists that are the dumbest people you'll know, but they know how to play a trick on you. They're smart enough in that specific area of getting people to trust them to go ahead and take you for your money or for your time or for whatever they take you for. That doesn't make them any smarter. That makes them smarter in that particular arena, not in everything. So why do I say that? I say that because in this particular situation with Russell Brand, if you are not familiar with Russell Brand was an actor and a comedian. Some people love his comedy. I never got it. He always, to me, played the same character in every movie because he's not a great actor. I mean, I know a lot of great actors that play the same character over and over again, but there's some nuance and some way of doing it that you sit there and you go, that's a completely different character than this character, even though they're basically the same. But in the case of Russell Brand, he always played the hippie with the heart of gold that was actually a jerk behind the scenes kind of thing. So I didn't really care for him. I loved Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but I didn't care about his character at all. Was pretty happy when they were rid of him. Anyway, bottom line is this. Russell Brand was supposedly left-leaning, and all of a sudden he began to espouse conspiracy theories and talk trash about the media and whatnot. And so apparently there was a documentary and some reports or not of wrongdoing on the part of Russell Brand, and his decision was, I'm going to get ahead of all of this and I'm going to speak. Fine. 2 minutes 45 seconds and not once did he say I didn't do it. He said we're going to look at the charges. I'm sorry, no offense. If somebody's accusing me of something, and they have, first words out of my mouth are, no, that's not what I'm doing. Example, every single time I've been accused of being a scam artist. Well, unless you're not watching the content, if you know I asked for $75 for groceries, you also know that I posted the pictures on Twitter of what I was getting with the money. If I tell you that I need money to pay the rent, 9 times out of 10, I'm paying the rent with it. And if you wonder, oh, but you got this makeup or whatever, that probably happened 3 months ago and I didn't even remember. And it happens a lot because I forget things. Especially if I don't see them. That's why you see so many things. Like you see all the books and the magazines and all the stuff. It's because I need to see it to remember. If I don't see it, if it's on a closet somewhere and the closet is not open like this one, I don't know if you can see it, but you see the little racks and whatnot. If I don't see it, I don't remember it. I have a black dress. It's a casual dress. I started wearing it 4 weeks ago. I've had it for over 2 years. It was sitting in the bag that it came from. I put the bag somewhere. I totally forgot about the bag, and I found it, and I was like, whose is this? Yours? Really? And it's a cute dress, and it's very comfortable, and I look good in it. But you know what? It took me almost 2 years to find it because I forgot I had it. That happens to me more than I care to admit. Why? And before you think, is that the disease? No, I've been like that my entire life since I was like 5 years old. So, going back, the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't have to explain any of this to anybody. The reality is, when I've asked for money, or if I tell you, don't forget to tip the channel or whatever, is because creating content costs money. Whether it's time that I'm using here instead of using it in something else, whether it's actual money because I bought something for the channel, creating content costs money. There should be no problem with anybody donating or tipping a creator, any creator. I'm not just talking about me now. Any creator. I don't care if they have 1 million followers or 1. If you feel it in your heart to donate to a person or to tip a person because you get enjoyment out of the content you're watching, do it. Don't let stupid people who are jealous because they don't have a channel, because they don't have the balls to show up on camera or create content, don't let that distract you from supporting the content creators that you like. Having said that, whenever I have been accused of something like that, I just show the paperwork, or I show the pictures, or I show whatever happened. Not because people are asking, because the people that actually tip me and donate and whatever, they never ask me for anything. It's the people that like to talk trash because they're so fanatical in their devotion to a particular person that they don't like you because you don't like that person. Which brings me to the last topic that I want to touch on this video, and it's the matter of agree to disagree. Now, I have an entire series that's coming up called This Is Your Daily Remind. This is Gen X, the proud Gen Xer, telling you that you did not invent anything, and it's directed to millennials and Generation Z's because they have a different way of seeing the world. I don't have a problem with that part. That part is okay. They tend to define things completely different than the rest of us do. And what happens is, that's where you see people who are making a comment, like, for example, when I was growing up, I was told to never see color. Now, I'm Puerto Rican. My father would be considered white. My mother would be considered black. Light, but black. In my entire life, I was taught by both of those people never to see color. I'm Generation X. Now, if you ask a millennial will tell you that that comment in and of itself is a racist statement taken to eliminate or negate the life that they have experienced. I understand the concept, and I stopped using the comment because I see how that can be viewed that way. But it doesn't always mean that every person that you're surrounded with from a different generation is going to agree with you. Because I can spend 20 minutes here debunking that one. I'm not going to do it because I respect the people that actually came to me, respectfully had the conversation with me. And I was like, you know what? I see your point, so I'm not going to use it anymore. But that's not going to happen with everything I say and everything we say. Because at the end of the day, we're different generations, and the same way I should respect what your opinion is, every once in a while you should respect my opinion on an issue. Bottom line. Or, better yet, let's agree to disagree. And why am I keep bringing that segment is because agree to disagree has become a dog whistle and gaslighting. A few years ago, I had a difference of opinion with somebody that happens to be a millennial. And this person was very passionate about their distaste for a particular content creator, and I disagreed with them. And yes, we're talking about the same content creator I was talking about in the beginning. And this person, and I said something to the effect, okay, babe, agree to disagree. Ah, you're gaslighting me. What? Yes, you're gaslighting me. Because you're only saying that, and I'm like, wait. Back up. Agree to disagree is what adults do when they don't agree on a topic. You can keep on having your opinion. I don't have a problem with you having your opinion. So no, I'm not gaslighting you. I'm telling you that that's your opinion and I respect it. And I expect you to respect my opinion because it's my opinion and you're not going to change my opinion. We have become an entire group of people on social media that we expect people to change their minds based on what we think of things. This is why if you see good content creators, including obviously commentary channels, that will be more than happy to tell you things like, I don't expect to change your mind about this. The reason I'm telling you what's happening is so that you're informed of what's going on. Personally, and this is a personal opinion, I would rather make a bad decision but have as much information as possible than make a good decision with none information whatsoever. What do I mean by that? There have been times when I have purchased makeup that has ended up being the best makeup that I've ever purchased in my life. And it was because a content creator that I had never seen before went ahead, did a look, and they have similar skin color than mine. And I thought the pigmentation was perfect and everything was perfect. I went, I bought it, I tried it. It worked just the same for me. I made the decision with very little information and it was the right one for me. On the other side, there was a content creator, I'm not going to say who it is, who I trusted very much for their opinions on makeup. They have similar skin color to mine. And this is something that I want to address very, very lightly. I can watch content creators from every walk of life, every ethnicity, every race. But when it comes to what I'm actually going to buy, I'm going to look for people that have similar skin than mine. In other words, I usually go for people that are in their 50s and 40s, 50s, and 60s. Why? Because our skin is different than yours. Has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do with I'm being a bigot or whatever. No, I'm going for people that have... Because makeup is one of those things. It's not the same as, for example, if I want to learn how to draw something, I can learn it from a 10-year-old, from a 30-year-old, from a 50-year-old, Italian, French, African. It doesn't matter because it doesn't have anything to do with my own skin and how my skin looks on that product. When it comes to makeup, it's the only thing that I can think of. Actually, food is also one. And I'll get to the food in a second. But when it comes to makeup, makeup is one of those things where I never understood this whole thing. Oh, you only watch white creators. Well, if the person's white, why would they watch black creators? Unless the black creator has one of those combo channels. Like, for example, Bailey Sarian. I'm saying the name wrong. I know I'm saying the name wrong. But she's whitish. In my opinion, she's not white, okay? But she has a very specific look. She has a very, in my opinion, a very ethnic look, okay? And what we, Generation X, consider an ethnic look, okay? She has the dark hair, the dark eyes. The way the makeup sits on her is very different than it would sit on me, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. And so I wouldn't necessarily watch her putting on makeup, but she has the murder and makeup situation. And that's a reason for me to watch. Because they're doing that. Pop Lux. He's a guy. There's no reason for me to watch a guy. I don't have the same challenges. They have beard. Well, now that I'm in menopause, I do have more facial hair. But in terms of... We have different challenges in terms of face. Okay? But why do I watch him? Because he makes his... first of all, his reviews are honest in terms of he buys what he's... And he tells you if he bought it or if he got it on PR. Number one. Number two, he's funny as hell. So I watch him for that. There are other content creators that have nothing in common with me, both black and white. There's a girl, and I can't remember her name, and that's why I don't want to mention her, but she's Dominican, and she's not super dark, but she's not white, and she's hilarious. Again, nothing to do with the same skin tone, and she's young. Nothing to do with me, but I watch her because she's funny. That doesn't mean that you don't learn from somebody else that's different. That's different. What I'm talking about is when you actually want to see how a product performs, I go for people that look like me. End of story. On all other things, design, my favorite design content creator is black. My favorite organizing person is the organized soprano. She not white. My favorite perfume lady is Lulu. Not white. Now, on the guy side, my favorite designer, I want to say his first name is Nick, because I have so many content creators in my head right now I can't think straight. He's white, and he's a guy. I don't care on those particular topics because it doesn't affect the product, like same product, whatever. When the product has an effect, for example, if I'm gonna watch a cooking show or a cooking segment, especially on TikTok, which is where I get most of my recipes, I can't watch somebody that makes all kinds of dishes because I can't eat all kinds of dishes. I cannot eat anything with gluten. So I specifically look for gluten-free content creators. I hope that makes sense and you're not thinking that I'm being biased about who I follow or who I don't follow. I'm trying to explain to you why in some instances is another example. If you are of a certain age and you're watching content about taking care of children, I am not interested in that content because I already raised my daughter. Now, if she ever has a grandchild, since I already promised that I was going to take care of said grandchild, I might come back and look at content talking about the different ways that you can create certain things for children or whatnot because I'm back in that game. But right now, I'm not in that game. My daughter is in her 30s. I don't need a children's channel at all. And don't get me started on family channels. I don't watch those. I don't care about those. Yeah, this is editing me. I had something to add to the conversation. So I got on a tangent and I forgot to give you the bad example. It was a famous, popular, whatever you want to call it, beauty influencer who advertised a particular product. He was singing the praises of this makeup palette. It was the first makeup palette for this particular brand who, in their defense, they became a really good brand later on. But their first makeup palette was there was no pigment. It was a beautiful palette to look at, but it had no pigment. And I bought it because I thought this person was being honest about their review, and because it was somebody I had followed for a long time, and I was certain that this person was, yeah, it wasn't that. So it's better. What's better, to make a bad decision with lots of information or make a good decision with no information at all? You be the judge. It can happen either way, is what I'm trying to say. But, going back to the topic at hand, agree to disagree. Agree to disagree is one of those things. I'm beginning to think that it's one of those things that is perception based on generation. But the reality is this. If somebody tells you agree to disagree, they're not throwing a dog whistle at you. They're not gaslighting you. They're not doing anything. What they're telling you is that they respect your opinion and that they wish you would respect theirs. At least if they're Generation X, that's what we were raised as. But more importantly, for you to go on a rant and call a person every name on the book, whether it's written, a video, a TikTok, I don't care what it is, to try to get somebody to dox a person, to hate someone so much that you decide to tell your audience to create fake screenshots of crimes so that that person loses their reputation. Yes, that happened. Oh, everything I just said has happened to me. To sit on a computer and actually write that the reason why you're silent is because you're plotting a murder and you were talking about me. All of the above that I just mentioned is completely inappropriate behavior. And I decided to go with my own experience because I don't want to add to the other content creators that are going through the same thing. But I can tell you one thing. Two things happen when you do this kind of thing. First of all, you make it more interesting for me to keep creating content because I just want to shut you up. And number two, and more importantly, you're the one who looks bad. At the end of the day, what you say about somebody says more about you than it does about them. If I sat here all day talking about how XYZ content creator was a piece of crap, yeah, people will laugh, people would agree or disagree, but most people will think, wow, this person is not somebody that you want as a friend. It is what it is. When I see people commenting on the intelligence of Russell Brand just because he's contrarian and he hates the media, first of all, no, he's not being attacked because he hates the media. There's plenty of people that hate the media, me included, that have never been attacked for that. Oh, but he's a big voice and you're nobody. You know what? Still, the fact that somebody's getting attacked by the media that they have been attacking the entire time, because again, with the hypocrisy, doesn't mean that the accusations are not true. Most people in the news, commentary, drama, tea, whatever you want to call it, business, will not base their accusations on lies. Number one, it can come back to bite them in the ass. Number two, you can sue for libel, or I forgot the name of the other thing, but you know what I'm trying to say. And number three, and more importantly, if you really like your job, because yes, this is a job, whether I get paid $1 or $1 million, this is a job. If you really like your job, you do your job. And what that means is you do research. And in the case of the traditional media companies that decided to bring this documentary forward, it reminds me of the Jimmy Savile situation, where so many people were so in favor of Jimmy Savile that the man died without getting justice. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, the reality is, Russell Brand, whether he did it or not, his career is already ruined. The preemptive shot of saying, well, I've always said that I was a sex addict. A sex addict is not a man that does crimes on women. It's just one thing is not equal the other. Any person with an addiction, I don't care what your addiction is, it's not necessarily a bad person just because they have an addiction. The addiction is not what makes you a bad person. Your behavior does. If you're the kind of drunk that goes out and destroys property, yeah, you can say that the liquid courage came from the alcohol, but at the end of the day, you decided to destroy property. If you decided to commit a crime and you had a couple of unsolicited medications on your system, you decided to commit that crime. Nobody forced you to. And that is something that cracks me up about this whole situation. In all the situations, Russell Brand's situation, the whole situation with Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, Peter Monn, Colleen Ballinger, James Charles, there have been other content creators who have been attacked for actually telling the truth. Adam McIntyre. The reality is that none of these people, some of these people are bad people. Some of the people I just mentioned are bad people. And all of the people that I mentioned that are bad people, in other words, take Peter Monn and Adam McIntyre out of that list, all of those people, the only person that is responsible for their behavior is themselves. But and by the way, I'm a firm believer that you have no control over the audience, okay? They will have their chance to prove it in court if they're bad people or not. if they ever go to court. But the important thing to remember is this. You, as a fan of a content creator, a celebrity, whoever, your behavior is on you. It's not on Russell Brand. It's not on Trisha Paytas, Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, whoever you are a fan of. Your behavior is on you. Because Jeffree Star, Trisha, Colleen, anybody can sit in front of the camera until they're blue in their face telling you not to send hate to anybody, and people will still do it. Because again, you're the fan. You have the power in your keyboard, and you have a decision to make. And this video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.